Is it important to have an LLC set up prior to price appreciation? Any pitfalls for setting up post-price appreciation? Any benefit to wrapping the LLC in a trust? Why would you do it beforehand? Well, you're going to season in bank accounts. You're going to season in the creditor protection on the LLC. You're going to have everything set up so you're not rushing around last minute, making mistakes because you're emotional, excited. You want to be proactive on this stuff. And you can wait till post-price appreciation. If you have a larger amount of XRP, I would highly recommend being very proactive, potentially setting up a trust like you talked about. And it's not wrapping it in a trust. If you set up an LLC, you can have ownership. An asset protection trust can own the LLC, but it's not inside the trust. I know that sounds confusing. You can set up an LLC inside of the trust also, which provides a credit chassis and a ability to be able to margin things or borrow against stuff or work with a credit facility with the trust. Trusts have a hard time with banks unless they have an LLC inside of them. An LLC being inside of a trust versus the ownership of an LLC by a trust are two different things. You probably want both. You probably want an LLC inside of your trust and an LLC outside of your trust, both holding your XRP. Here's the deal with trusts in the US. Any income inside of a trust that's over $15,000 is taxed at 37.5%. Not fun. But if you have an LLC outside of the trust that the trust owns, you can pass that taxation to that LLC. So now let's say it was $250,000. Instead of being taxed at 37.5%, now you're at like 24%. And you can still use all the things at the LLC level to be able to mitigate taxes. So other expenses to be able to, have write-offs against that income. And if you're generating additional returns on the assets inside that LLC and inside the trust, you can use those returns in the LLC to pay for those taxes, or you could have to sell off a portion of your XRP there, but you're compounding XRP inside the trust at a faster rate. So it's a way of like over time transferring the XRP inside the trust. It's not exactly that way, but it's through a tax mechanism and compounding. So again, there's a lot of benefits to doing it that way. Some people may or may not want to complete the gift. There's 3 different types of protection that you get for trust. You get an asset protection trust gives you creditor protection, probate protection, and there's also, potentially gifting out of your taxable estate and making it non-grantor or grantor in that transition. Again, I know enough to be dangerous. We work with tax attorneys and estate planners that are the best in the business on this stuff. Pitfalls for setting it up post-price appreciation, making mistakes, rushing around, not having a bank account that's seasoned in to be able to, send profits to or income to without it getting flagged or frozen.